Are you looking for the best inflatable kayaks? In this video we will look at some of the 5 best inflatable kayaks on the market. Before we get started with our video, we have included links in the description. So make sure you check those out to see which one is in your budget range. Starting at number 1. Advanced Elements AirVolution Inflatable Kayak. Let it be known that 2025 is the year that the drop-stitch inflatables took over, and the Advanced Elements AirVolution Recreational Kayak, $1,380, takes the cake as just about the best we've paddled so far. With a paddling manner that closely resembles cruising in a hardshell kayak, we think that going with a drop-stitch boat is now the way to go in inflatables. The benefits of going with a full drop-stitch construction are obvious the first time you paddle a kayak like the AirVolution, and we noticed a stability and speed that translated to a much higher confidence than we usually have in an inflatable option. The 2-chamber design is pretty quick to inflate, and it's best if you use an electric pump to get most of the way there and top off with the included high-pressure pump. Because drop-stitch bladders run at a higher pressure, these chambers are both fitted with pressure relief valves, which are handy for keeping you below max pressure. At the correct 12 psi of pressure, this boat is nearly as stiff as a hardshell kayak, and it paddles similarly to one, save for the flat bottom, which makes the AirVolution move more like a SUP. The AirVolution seating style is a bit between a sit inside and a sit on top, as the seat's recessed area doesn't quite allow you to stretch underneath the decks. There's still a good amount of space here to paddle from, and we could even tuck our pup in here for short trips. The seat is similar to others offered on different AE inflatables and has a high enough back for good support. Onboard storage is a bit limited, as the internal space below decks is only about 6 inches tall. In practice, we found tossing a stuffed sack in here made the most sense, as it was easy to retrieve when we needed it. Otherwise, 2 bungee corded areas atop the decks do wrangle your larger kit, and we were also to stash a small soft-sided cooler up here. The AirVolution is just about the most hardshell-looking inflatable kayak we've tooled around in to date, and while there's a little performance to give up, the benefits are undeniable. 39 pounds for the whole boat is impressive, and setup is much easier than other boats with 6+ inflation bladders. If you only buy one inflatable kayak, this one is at the top of our list. Number 2. Wilderness Systems iATAK 110 Sit-on-Top Fishing Kayak. The Wilderness Systems iATAK 110, $1,400, won us over quickly, and it's safe to say that this is the best inflatable fishing kayak we've used to date. This uniquely shaped angler barge has stability to spare, all of the accessory functionality you need to rig up rods and the like, and a seat that stands out among the crowd. Unlike some fishing IKs that use a drop-stitch floor and open tube combination, the iATAK is entirely drop-stitch, meaning it inflates to a higher pressure and is more rigid across its length. This translates to a more efficient paddle, but more importantly, more stability while fishing from the boat. At 11 foot long, this kayak has a good bit of volume to inflate, and the included electric pump works well to get you 80% of the way there before topping off with the high-pressure hand pump. We appreciated the pressure relief valves built into the boat, as it helps hedge against expansion. Once inflated, and you've got all your fishing accessories in place, the iATAK is a dream to paddle and fish from. The AIRE style mounts are now near industry standard, and you get 4 of these on the kayak, plus an aluminum rail at the bow of the boat for even more rod holders. We used this kayak to trawl and sight cast for trout in the foothills of the Washington Cascades, and put away a not small number to prove it. The ErgoBoost seat is a highlight on the iATAK, and it's an aluminum-framed comfortable spot to paddle from, and folds forward to gain a bit of height while sitting and casting, or, our favorite, standing to sight fish from. You'll need a little balance to pull it off, but you gain tremendous vantage for casting. The footrest system can be a bit confusing to install, unless you know the trick. There's no need to remove the footrests from the tracks, as you can slide the rails rearward through the stern textile loops first, and then push them forward into the bow loops. Conquer this, and the iATAK 110 will be your go-to inflatable fishing kayak for years to come. Number 3. AIRE Tributary Spud Inflatable Kayak. It's pretty impressive what a seasoned paddler can do in a whitewater inflatable kayak, or ducky, as they are lovingly called. The AIRE Tributary Spud, $539, has been around for a minute, and earned an almost cult-like following that we got a taste of recently. Our verdict? The hype is real. This rubber duck can bash through some tough water. We sent whitewater paddler Claire Barber down the Class 4 rapids of Oregon's Rogue River to get the full measure on the Spud, and she reported high marks. The Spud is remarkably stable for its diminutive size, she says. The boat is so small that it rides in and out of the troughs of waves almost completely before breaking through the crest like a rubber duck. At just over 7 foot long, the Spud is far and away the shortest inflatable we've tested and more akin to pack rafts, but it trades maneuverability for weight capacity. The raft doesn't boast any thigh straps, and as such hard edging while eddying out wasn't as sharp, but that short waterline means you can whip it around in techie rapids where must-make moves can be the difference between lacing it and flipping. The 1000 denier vinyl construction is much more compact than PVC designs, and while the seat is pretty lo-fi, just a large inflatable cushion, it gets the job done. If we could have our way, we'd want a foam backband here for better control. Know that the Spud is better suited to more compact paddlers, and if you're not that, check out the Tater, the same boat in all measures except length, width, and weight capacity. The whitewater specialization here means that the Spud is tougher to handle in flatwater paddling, making this more of a one-trick pony. But to be sure, this is the inflatable kayak we'd want to be in whenever the waters get rowdy. Number 4. Star Raven I Inflatable Kayak. The Star Raven I, $995, is the inflatable ducky taken to the nth degree, with a drop-stitch floor and an aggressive rocker that punches through whitewater like little else out there. Compared to the AIRE Spud, this IK is more of a scalpel in rough water, where the Spud is a hammer. It's also more than twice as expensive, meaning it's really for the whitewater IK fanatics. The performance is undeniable, however, and even seasoned hardshell paddlers had to admit they were impressed in our testing. The 10.5-inch diameter tubes kick up a full 16.5 at both the bow and the stern, giving the Raven Pro some great rocker for punching through holes. The drop-stitch floor stiffens up the boat significantly, and it's recessed from the edges to allow water to drain through the kayak. The kayak itself is a little shy of 11 foot long, so it's not the quickest to spin around, but it tracks well in rough water. The Raven is also offered in a Pro version, which adds both padded thigh straps and an adjustable foot brace system that allows you to lock in and put this kayak on edge. The foot pegs do provide a good spot to brace yourself, but they aren't our favorite option for a foot brace in a whitewater craft, and the inflatable version from AIRE is a great add-on to this kayak. We paddled this boat on Class 2 and 3 rivers in Washington state, mostly while with some pack rafters, and found the Raven had a noticeable advantage in tunneling out of deep holes where those boats tend to get tube suck. The trade-off was that those pack rafts could swing around on a dime, so pick your ideal boat with that in mind. The carrying bag provided with the Raven I is pretty big, but could stand to be a smidge bigger, as getting the kayak back into it is a bit of a wrestling match. Make sure you remove all of the internal rigging and seat before attempting. That said, we think this inflatable kayak is a logical next step if you've mastered the Spud. Number 5. INTEX 68309EP Excursion Pro K2 Inflatable Kayak Set. While there are even cheaper inflatable kayaks on the market, we found they were all glorified pool toys and not up for the rigors of frequent use. At $398, the INTEX Excursion Pro K2 isn't cheap, but that also means that this kayak won't punch its clock prematurely. After the Sea Eagle SA370, this is our next recommendation for a budget model. Sized for 2, the Excursion Pro is made from a standard 3-ply PVC, which is a tough skin that, while not the bulliest out there, was durable enough to not worry about beaching the kayak on friendly shores. The 3-chamber construction is fairly standard and inflated easily enough with the included pump. The seats on the K2 are, frankly, a bit lacking, and while adjustable fore and aft, and pretty squishy and don't provide as much support as the EVA panel option seen in the Advanced Elements Advanced frame. Good enough for an afternoon, but all-day paddling might require a few more swim breaks. Being 12.5 foot long, the Excursion Pro tracks pretty nicely, and a shallow or deep water skeg helps shore up that performance. With 2 paddlers, you'll need to perfect your tandem paddle strokes to keep it on the line, but even on strong-flowing rivers, we could maneuver where we needed to be. While the Excursion is also available in a solo-piloted version, the price difference is minimal, and in our experience, this kayak paddles about just as well with 1 person as it does with 2. The additional space is also a boon for toting around extra gear, or as in our testing, a well-mannered pup. In the end, we settled on the Excursion Pro K2 as being second best when it comes to a budget option. The Sea Eagle SE370 has it bested in a few different metrics, weight and durability included, but there's something about a kayak you can whale on with impunity, and for the price, it's tough to argue with the K2.